So we're going to begin. Firstly, I want to thank all of you for joining us today and tomorrow for Campus Live and welcome you to our student panel. My name is Rachel. I'm the marketing coordinator here at the University of Haifa International School, and I'm also an alumna of our International MA in National Security Studies. I'm really excited to have you all here for our student panel and also to learn about our international graduate programs. And just a bit about that, we offer 18 international graduate programs, all taught in English. And these one and 2 year programs are designed to equip our students with the tools they need to succeed in their respective fields. And of course, to provide practical experiences that will lead our alumni to success after their studies here. I'd just like to remind you all that those of you who submit your online applications today and tomorrow, June 1st and 2nd, you'll enjoy 50% discount on the $100 registration fee. And also, at any time, you can learn more about our programs throughout the day and today and tomorrow and chat with our representatives and of course schedule a phone or Zoom call. Also, the students here will be able to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the session. Feel free to write them in the chat here and we'll address them at the end of the session. And I just kindly ask that everyone leaves their microphone on mute until the end of the session when you'll have an opportunity to ask our panelists any questions you might have. So without further ado, I'm very happy for our students to introduce themselves. Please kindly tell everyone who you are, where you're from, what you're studying, and your previous academic background. We'll begin with Umar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Umar Mukhtar. I'm from India. I study the International Masters of Public Health here, and my previous academic experiences, I've studied medicine from Tongji University, Shanghai, and I also have a distance education Bachelor of Arts in English Literature. So all the best.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leila. I'm from Uruguay in South America. I'm studying a master program in child development, and my bachelor that I have from Uruguay, it's in psychology. And then I specialize in child psychology, a lot of courses, but now I'm doing the master program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Piyush. I'm from India. I'm currently a student at the University of Haifa, the Masters in Holocaust Studies. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicole. I am from Argentina. I studied biochemistry back in my country, and now I'm doing the master in public health.
Hi, my name is Gerardo Diaz. I'm from Mexico City. I studied the Bachelor in Geophysical Engineering at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, also called UNAM, of course, in Mexico City. And right now I'm studying the Master in Arts in Maritime Civilizations here in Haifa. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you guys so much. So let's dive right in. The first question would be, how did you guys discover the program in Haifa and why did you decide to come here for your graduate studies? I will send this to Gerardo.
Okay, so first of all, I was really interested in a program which could have included diving, archaeology, and land archaeology, of course. It was not that easy to find one because normally there are just archaeology either for historians or for people with an archaeological background. So basically, how did I find it? It was just internet, searching in pages of internet, and till I found one at UNESCO. And UNESCO showed all the universities that gave this course. Of course, one of them was Haifa, and I like Haifa because it didn't really matter your background. Actually, it was even better because from my geophysical background, they were like, okay, that fits perfectly because we really could need people with a background of geosciences and of course geophysics and math, and that's how I find it.
Thank you, Gerardo. We'll direct the question next to Nicole about how you discovered the program and why you decided to come study here.
Okay, so I decided I wanted to study outside my country since I was finishing my last year, and I started to search in internet in a lot of universities, and I did Taglit a few years ago. Taglit, if you don't know what it is, it's like a trip you can do if you are Jewish. It's to know Israel and to know the culture and to know some places. So I thought in that time that it was a possibility to study here. So afterwards, searching for some universities in another countries, I started to search here in Israel, and I applied to a Masaf fellowship. That is like a scholarship that supports Jewish students who want to study or to want to, I don't know, have like an internship in some company or something like that. So I applied to them, and then I found that this program was inside of the Masaf Fellowship. So it was like both combined, like Masaf Fellowship, my willingness to study here, and everything combined.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nicole. So my next question is, what is your experience as an international student here in Haifa? And I'm gonna send this one to everyone. So I'm gonna first ask Leila to address this question. Thank you.
Okay, my experience in general then.
Yes, just your experience being an international person here in Haifa.
Well, for me, it's been awesome, honestly. From the part of being now in Israel as a kind of international student, kind of tourist sometimes, and being in the university, it was amazing. It was like more than what I was expecting. I love the master program. It was really, honestly, everything I was hoping and more. I have 22 classmates. We are from all the continents in the world. We are 13 countries. We become like a really close and loving like family. Teachers are awesome too. And it's like everything had been really amazing. Then I also discovered Haifa. It was a beautiful city because we have the mountain, but then we also have the beach. And like in general, it, of course, sometimes there are struggles like maybe the Hebrew part, but in general, everyone speaks in English too. Everyone is willing to help you everywhere. If you're like in the supermarket and they see you like lost, they will go without me asking like, what are you looking for? So it's a really good like city to come to study. I'm guessing maybe some other cities in Israel too, but I love being in Haifa, honestly, and in the university.
Thanks, Leila. I'm gonna ask you now, Umar, your experience as an international student here.
Building on what Leila said, I think it's really been wonderful. This has not been my first international experience, so I was expecting something like the same level of experience that I had in China, but coming here it was quite different. I stay in the dorms since the beginning. Even now, I'm staying in the dorms during the COVID-19, and just been knowing the local people, knowing the local culture, differences in languages, differences in cultures, in from one village to another. It's just, excuse me, it's just really, it's very inspiring, and talking to them and knowing their stories, it's been really amazing. So yeah, for me, the international experience was coming from another perspective and looking at the people's perspective of Israel. So that was, yeah.
Thank you, Umar. Piyush?
Yes, it's been the same. Like both of them. Actually, it has been great. Especially being here. Haifa is a wonderful city. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The food is great. It's amazing. People are really helpful. People have been nice. And you also meet people from all over the world, you know, from US, Canada, Germany, Russia, you name it, and you find people here. And it has been really great. It's a beautiful city with nice food. The university is great. The faculty is awesome. It has been really nice.
Thank you, Piyush. Gerardo?
Well, I agree with all my mates. This has been really, really amazing. First of all, because you get to know different cultures from everywhere, from India, from Argentina, from Colombia, from US, from Europe. So it really changed your perspective of seeing the things, how maybe like a Mexican or Latin, we have a perspective, and then you come here and it really opens your eyes in a way that you get to know more the people, get to know different costumes, get to know how they experience their life at home. And personally, here in the university, it has been really great. The people is the staff, the departments, the teachers. They are always eager to help. They always they really know about their topics. They speak to you. That's amazing. And another point that I would like to highlight is the customs or traditions of here in Israel. For example, the first time we were here, the first Shabbat I was in, I was really surprised because in Shabbat it starts from Friday and it ends on Saturday. And for us, it was super weird because it was like, what's happening? Everything is closed. There is no markets. There is no transportation. At the beginning, it was kind of weird, but then you get to, then you like it. You actually need it. Like, okay, here's the Shabbat. Thank you. I need this time for relaxing, for thinking about my stuff. That was amazing. Also, regarding the food, for example, there is the shawarma, which is quite similar to the tacos in Mexico. So that was super surprising. I never expected something like this, and I had never eaten so much eggplant and hummus as before. So this was something really particular and really good. It was a really good experience because otherwise I would have never done it like this. So great.
Thank you,
I'm
Gerardo.
sorry, can I add something?
Of course.
Coming from an international perspective, I wouldn't expect the people of a country to be so welcoming, but here you can talk to anyone you want. There is no hierarchy. Basically, you can just go and talk to the CEO of the company, to the dean of your college. Just send them an email before, and it's just so easy for us to get answers. So yeah, that's also a very amazing thing of here that I learned. Yeah.
Thank you, Umar. Nicole, do you have anything to add about your experience as an international student here?
Not so much. I think all of them say what I was going to say. Even the eggplant and the hummus part of Gerardo, like it's really like that. It's incredible how much eggplant and hummus you can eat here. I don't know. Globally, my experience is wonderful. I'm finding my place here really comfortable. People are really nice. They are really willingness to help with everything you need, even as a student or as a tourist too. So it's really nice to move around, and it's like really friendly in every aspect. So I don't have anything more to that.
Thank you. So something that a few of you touched on was actually the next question, so we'll continue with that. Basically, I wanted to say that we have students that hail from 45 different countries every year. And I wanted to ask you guys, how about some of this experience and how it impacts, being with students from 45 different countries, students from all over the world, maybe people you have never met before, or cultures you had never experienced before. I'm wondering how this diverse background of the students impacts the learning experience for you, both in and outside of the classroom. I'm going to start with Leila because you had mentioned that first.
Okay. Well, for me, that's the most interesting part. And I knew I was going to be with people from other parts of the world, but I didn't expect so much. My master program has the quality that we literally cover all the continents in the world. We have North America, Central America, South America. We have Africa, like 8 countries. We have Europe and Asia. We have absolutely everything. And I think the biggest challenge is for the professors, the lecturers, that when we're on class, they need to make sure they cover all these different cultures. So for what I'm studying, which is child development, it's super important because since the studies we learn, the research, everything is multicultural. So we learn some theory, but then it's like, okay, but maybe this in Africa is like this, but this in America is like this. And the exchange we have in class, everything we learn, it's like we learn from the professors that they are like the best, but we learn from every student that talks in class, we are learning. And for me, that's amazing. None of us expect this, and every class now, even now, online classes is the same. We are taking everything we can from everywhere, and I'm learning how is psychology and social worker everywhere else in the world, and of course here in Israel. And for me, that's like the cherry of the cake, is the best part. And I really encourage people to do it, because I wouldn't be doing this everywhere else in the world. If I went to other country to do a master program, I don't think I will have this multicultural, like, it's really, it leaves me speechless, because it's amazing, really. I love it.
Thank you, Leila. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add on that point?
Yeah, sure, I can. So in my program, we have students who are from different countries, different backgrounds, and different age groups. So we have people who are 25, we have people who are 40, who are 55, who are from different countries. When we take part in class discussions during, even if it is Second World War, or if it's the final solution, anything relevant to our program, we have these discussions. When you have these ideas from people who are from totally different backgrounds, who have totally different ideas. So yes, that is something, and that's inside the class. Outside the class, when you have discussions with people who come from a very different culture, speak a very different language, eat a very different food, wear different clothes, it's like you become more and more open-minded. You learn more things, and so that's something, you learn something new every time.
Can I add something? So in our class as well, our professor goes through we go through a cultural workshop as well, where he actually teaches us how the other culture works, how they are, if they are confrontational, if they are not confrontational, if how they think or how they perceive things. And that actually helped us a lot as classmates as well, to understand each other and to understand how each of us work. And that's pretty good. And outside the culture, like outside the classroom, like everyone said, I think it's great. I've had discussions here with people that I can never have anywhere else in the whole world, so I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Umar. So turning on that point about the diversity in the classroom experience and the various experiences that you have here, Umar, you had mentioned before about the lack of hierarchy in Israeli society and how to really take advantage of that in terms of networking. And I know in our personal interactions together, I know, of course, that you've definitely taken advantage of that through your various activities during your time here. So I was wondering if you could actually talk a bit about your experience with the Israelis of Asia Fellowship and some of the other things you're doing as well on the side.
I'm a part of Israel Asia Leaders Fellowship Program. So I got this program opportunity through the university, where the international school sent me this application where I can fill it in, and I got selected. So basically this program is an 8-month course program where you can, where it's a leadership course basically, or more leadership / entrepreneurship course, because at the end of the day, we are in the startup nation. So Rebecca is the director of this program, and she encourages us. We have a lot of workshops on how we can pitch our ideas, how we can talk to the CEO, how we can talk to the media, how we can write an executive summary. So basically how you can start from the starting of the project till the end of the project. So through this, I've met a lot of people, a lot of CEOs from companies, from startup companies. I've met many people from the ministries as well. It's very surprising for an international student to go into a ministry and sit there and actually talk to the people who are the ambassadors and who are the diplomats, who are dealing with the actual problems in a lot of Asian countries. So it's I still, when I think back about it, I still can't believe it. So yeah.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know in many of your programs, academic field trips are a component of many of your courses. So I'm wondering if anyone would be interested to discuss some of the field trips that you've been on through your courses and what sort of value this experience outside of the classroom has for your academic experience here. Gerardo.
Yeah, well, so of course I study archaeology here, and we definitely have field trips. In my particular case, I can tell you three really good. One is about Tel Megiddo. Tel Megiddo, it's in the Bible like the place of the Armageddon. So this was amazing because first of all, first you see it maybe in the movies, maybe on a documentary, you read it on the books, and then on the classes you talk about this place in a geologically way, and finally when you go to the site itself, it's amazing because you understand how the people of these ancient times consider this site like so strategic for many reasons, because there was like maybe water flowing through there, and water, for a really useful resource. It's Atel is also known as a little hill, so it was also strategic for war. It was also a strategic for commerce. So you get to know the landscape, why they use it in that way. Another place that we found, it's called Tabun Cave, which in another class called geoarchaeology, we study the archaeology with a perspective, with a geological view. So we also talk about the stratigraphy, how layers deposited in this area, and of course it was so simple to find the differences in layers. It was like a photography from a book about you were seeing the site, and you also know that people from the Neolithic period, they live in this area, and then you understand why they did it. Another really good field trip that we have was in the Magan Mikhail shipwreck, which was a wreck that was found here in Haifa, in nearby a kibbutz called Magan Mikhail, and this ship belongs to the 5th century BCE, before Christ, and this shipwreck, it was reconstructed, so we actually sailed on the shipwreck. So you know how the people of ancient times, they managed to sail. How did they use the winds to maneuver? And of course, how did they build a ship itself using something called Sun system, the kind of wood that they use. And of course, it's a whole experience to really be in a ship that was so similar to one of the ancient times. So it has been really amazing and a unique experience.
Great, thank you so much, Gerardo. I'd just like to also piggyback off of that. You had mentioned your experience on the Magan Mikhail, and I know earlier in the year you had sent me some videos from the fieldwork, actually, so everyone can tune in on our Facebook later tonight when we're showing all of our marine science programs. You'll also see a video of Gerardo there as well. Leila, I saw you were about to start speaking. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I can share too, because in child development, we have like half classes, half field trips, like a lot. Like child development is 2-year program into one, so it's really, really extensive and a lot of subjects every semester, but we can do it, you can do it too. And like we have in the first semester, Israel and society, which it was to learn the history about Israel. And it was really interesting because we have like 4 or 5 field trips. So when we arrived, we start going, the 22 of us, with other master programs to these field trips to know Israel. We've been to the north, we've been to the south, we've been to Akko, to Tzfat, and we had the teacher teaching us about Israel. But instead of being in the class, he took us to the places and he was teaching history in the places that things occur, but that it was really amazing. And we get to know more about Israel in the first semester, first week of school. But then related to child development, like many of the subjects we have. For example, I can think about disability that we have in the first semester. When we finish the class, the teacher took us to, he has a school with for kids with like disabilities, like motor disabilities, and they have this new super advanced technology, a school with a swimming pool, with many amazing like rooms to dance, to exercise, and they took us there. So everything we learned and we saw it, we actually met one of the, some kids that they were there waiting to go them to a field trip. And then we been to a kibbutz to see how the kibbutz work, but also always everything like connected to child development. We went to how you say, public health polyclinics to learn how they work, how psychologists, doctors, social workers. So everything we were learning, then they tried to took us to all these services they have in Israel. So we really learned how this kind of child development works in Israel. So then we will leave to our countries, but we will know how everything works here. We miss a lot of field trips, sadly, because we love them. But the first semester we have many, and they are maybe waiting, hoping that we can do one at the end of June. So I know with my classmates, we are like excited to see where they're going to take us because they are really fun. They add also something like particular. Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. Piyush, I will actually direct that question to you as well to hear about some of the experience you have in the Holocaust Studies program.
Yes. So we were in a seminar, for a 3-day seminar from Yad Vashem, Jerusalem. There were lectures, and along with that, there were, like, we went inside the museum to visit the whole museum. It was not very long because there were a series of lectures, but it was really nice because I would personally say if anyone is coming to Israel, Yad Vashem is a place where you must visit. Doesn't matter you are in the program, you are at the university or not, if you're coming, it's a place where you should be. It was good, it was very good because you have experts over there and it takes you through a whole history of how Europe was, what's the history of Jews in Europe, what happened during the Second World War, what happened after that, what happened during that. It gives you a lot of knowledge about the field that you are studying, and also because it was accompanied by a series of lectures by research scholars who are working in the Yad Vashem. It was really helpful. It was very good.
Thank you, Piyush. So my next question is actually for Nicole and Umar particularly, since you're students in the MPH program. I know that the MPH program has a required practicum component, so I'm wondering if you can each tell us what you're doing for your practicum and how that experience is going for you. Let's start with Nicole.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't turn on my microphone. In my case, my experience, my applied practice was kind of strange and unexpected. I was one day in the class and they came like a doctor from Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country in Middle East Europe. I didn't know where it was. Suddenly the professor was a doctor working in epidemiology and pharmacology and different topics there in Bosnia. And Richard, one of our program coordinators, asked me if I was interested in going to there to do my practice because I'm interested in pharmacology and pharmacy companies. So he remembered that and he asked me if I was able to do that. So last February, before all this Corona started, I went there and I had like an amazing time and really unexpected because I wasn't planned to go from Israel to Bosnia in the middle of my program. But I think to be a foreign student here in Israel or in another country gives you the opportunity to unexpected experiences. So of course I say yes, and I spent the whole month there. I went in the Institute of Public Health in the city I was there. I joined some classes in the university. I visit a pharma company too. I have like personal classes with some specialists in the field of epidemiology or social epidemiology and social health, and a lot of people who was willingness to help me and to teach me, and it was amazing. And afterwards, I stayed in contact with them, and they were really nice. So my experience was like for me a completely success.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing about that experience. Umar?
So I started my practicum with MediSafe. It's a startup company here in Israel. It's a medication and a pill reminder tracker app. And I got to know about this company from a fellow classmate of mine, and I did it in between the break between the first semester and the second semester, and thankfully I finished it before COVID-19 hit us. Because yeah, it would have been pretty hard for a lot of us actually. But yes, this internship was amazing because I've never had the experience of working in a startup company before. I've had only experience in working in hospitals, and this was, it didn't have, because the staff there didn't have a proper medical or legit medical background, and I had a medical background, so I was doing the research for them because they were working on multiple sclerosis drugs, and I was giving them the whole background information about what happens and everything. And this was, I think, 1 month I was there. I was working for 1 month, and they've made me a part of the family, and even now I'm still in contact with them. They still text me and ask me how I'm doing, and if I need something. And it's great. Wherever I go, Israel's been amazing.
Thanks, Umar, for sharing that experience. I'm going to turn to a different topic now as we're winding down towards the end of our session. I'm going to ask what your plans are for the future and how your degree will help you get there. I'm going to start with Piyush because I know that you've been selected to go on a student exchange to Poland through your program. So I'm wondering if you can talk about that and your plans for after the program is over.
Yes, I have been selected for the Erasmus Student Exchange Program to go to Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. It has been postponed due to the corona situation, so it won't be happening this year, but hopefully next year in February in the spring semester. I plan to do a PhD after this, so that's why Poland was very important for me, and thankfully University of Haifa gave me this opportunity because it will help me to further work on my research topic so that I'm able to work more on it and then take it to my PhD and do further research. So yes, my plans are for PhD. Where I don't know yet, I am still planning on where to apply, which country, which university. But yes, this is my plan for now. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Piyush. I wish you obviously a lot of luck, but luckily we still have time here together before you move on to your next adventure. Let's just go around. Leila, your plans for after the program is over?
Okay, well, my plans for when I can go back to my country, to Uruguay, I want to go back to work. In my case, I'm not choosing PhD, but it's something just personal because I like working. I like being with the kids and with the families and doing something for them, working social work with a team and being really on the field. So that's what I'm choosing for my life. Maybe I can do another master program. I don't choose PhD, but only for that reason, I will recommend actually a PhD, of course, here. Maybe in many years, I will do it because at least psychology here in Israel, it's amazing. It's super advanced. Many of the like high leader studies in psychology are being based here in Israel. I've seen even series on Netflix that the studies are here. I thought maybe they are my teachers. So for me, I want to go back and work, and I know this master program is like, I think it's good to mention, I have 2 jobs in Uruguay, and when I came here, they told me they are both waiting for me 1 year entire, because the master program is highly related to what I do. So it's like the master program is really so amazing, and the show that I have that is social work, they are waiting for me. It's like, Leila, please come to share everything you're learning. And so I think it's all the experience in general, having the master program in the curriculum, of course, is good everywhere else in the world, but so I'm hoping to actually go back working. I miss the kids and the families that I work, so I want to go back.
Hopefully you'll be able to take all of the things you've learned here and apply it back at home and be able to fulfill yourself when you return to work.
Yes, this is the idea.
Umar?
Just like you said, Rachel, accumulating the information here and taking it back home somehow. Hopefully in policy making, that would be the plan, because right now that's where my intentions are. It's very unclear because public health is very diverse and you can do a lot of things with it. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, the plan is to go back home and look for something there. Yeah.
Thank you, Umar. Gerardo?
Well, right now this is my decision. Probably, of course, it can change, but for what I think. And for me, I totally will follow PhD, because here the research is really well funded. It's really, they really help you. And me, as with a geophysical and engineering background, they are really looking forward to kind of mix both science, engineering, and of course history and archaeology. And how the program has helped me is in the way of knowing, for example, where ancient battles took place. So of course, all these battles in a particular area of the ocean, there is a really good way to spot, well, to work, to dive, and to, of course, maybe find something truly interesting. Additionally, this program is so multidisciplinary. So even though I'm in the archaeological department, in the maritime civilizations department, you can also work with marine technologies, and also with marine geosciences, and even with marine biology. And at the end, you find out that they kind of mix together, and you can get something really useful for archaeology, and everybody in every field gets a little bit of this expertise and knowledge, and at the end you get a super cool project. So for me, this will be the next step. I still don't have a certain topic, but it can be to find these shipwrecks using UAV, like the drones for underwater archaeology, and of course maybe diving them and monitor them. So that will be my possible next step.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. Nicole?
So I don't know yet. I'm in the PhD track, thinking or maybe join a pharmaceutical company. So I still have to decide on that. But I think I'm going to stay here for a while. I'm planning to stay here, maybe return to Argentina to visit my families and friends that I miss them so much, and then return here because I like to be here and I'm feeling okay. And as I think Umar says, we are in the startup nation, and I think it's a really nice country to start working on research and development of drugs or maybe scientific research. That's my background, and I like to work or to study there.
Awesome, thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. Obviously, we wish you all good luck in whatever the next step is, but I'm still happy, as I said before, that you guys are still here with us for a little while longer before you move on to that next chapter. So I'm just wondering if anyone has any advice to give for a future international student here in Israel.
Get a thick jacket. The winters are nasty here. They're brutal. Get a thick jacket.
especially in Haifa. There is a lot of wind.
I don't know. I came from a place with a lot of snow, so for me, it's very nice. I guess it's all relative to where you come from.
Yeah, for me, coming from Uruguay, the weather is amazing. And Uruguay Israel has a lot of humidity, but Uruguay too. So for me, nothing new. And I think otherwise, there's a lot of month of heat. And the winter, it's not, for me, it was not so much. It was a little thing of winter. So it was good. And I will say that go for it because it's an amazing experience. You can live here. Somebody asked about Hebrew, and I that was my big issue before coming. Oh, what I will do, but here then you can talk with people because you can manage with signs, or they talk, or many people talk a lot of English. Some of them talk a little bit, but they are willing to help. So when someone is willing to help, they will try to understand you, and you will make the way for them to understand you. So it could be like a little obstacle but it has solutions all the time. Even bus driver, they stop the bus to help you, to watch the map, where you're going, where you need to go. Sometimes happen to me, no, you need to take 143, and they kick you off to the other bus, the correct bus. So that's really amazing. But if you can learn Hebrew, it's of course it's better, a little bit basic things, but it's not like an issue. But that would be my advice, to learn a little bit of Hebrew.
Yes, I was going to say exactly the same as Leila. Like, it's not a barrier at all. Maybe in some special places, for example, if you go to the market, maybe people don't speak English, but you don't only need to, I don't know, to know how to read the calculator because they are going to show the numbers in the calculator, or maybe with the signs with the hand. So it's not an obstacle. I don't know any word. Maybe now I'm trying to listen and to understand and know the numbers and everything, but because I want to, but it's no need to do it. You can speak in English in every place, in the supermarket, in the university, with people on the streets, on the bus drivers are willingness to help you, and of course you are going to get lost, but it's happened. So it happened here and in every country that you are going to visit, and you learn. And the winter is not so bad, that's true, but winter exists here in Israel, so you have to be aware of that, nothing else.
Yes, I have something to add. So yes, of answers to the questions that I think every student has before coming here. The public transportation is really good, so that is not a problem. I think the public transportation, what I have seen, is actually very good. The buses come exactly on the time that it shows on your phone. Also, cards work almost everywhere. If you're coming with a card, I don't think you need cash because the cards work in most of the places, whether it's a small store or a supermarket. If you don't know Hebrew, I think it's not going to be a problem because I have been to the city, to the village. I think if you know English and if you ask others, it's very easy. You know, somebody will help you. So it's not that difficult. And yes, the winter is harsh. Yes, oh my God, yes, winter was really difficult. Yeah, so you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, I would like to add also, just as Leila said, you go for it. There are no limitations. Just if you're hesitating, figure out if what you're looking for is really what you want to do. And if you have any doubt, don't hesitate really to ask any of us or to Rachel. The people here in the staff and also the departments, they are always really eager to help in any question, really. Even if you talk about accommodation, if you talk about how's the winter, if you talk about what the temperature of the ocean, any kind of question, really. Of course, there are also opportunities, scholarships and fundings. Also, something that I really consider important, most of you are Latino, you're Latin, take into account that the fact of leaving home will be a big stroke. Apparently, it's like, yeah, I go, and it's like nothing, but once you're here, you will really feel like the distance from home, and that's something that you really need to consider. Some people I have met, not only here in Israel but also from abroad, mostly they have returned home because they really feel this like this sadness. It's normal, of course. I have also felt it, but take that into account, because that would be a big stroke. And additionally, also you will here you will have a lot of support. If you have an innovative idea or something that you think that maybe it will not work, think that there is one place that they will be eager to help, and it will be here. Really, there will be people that maybe is also thinking as you or considering things as you. And once you're here and you talk about your ideas, you can really come up with something really great and making a good project. So yeah, yes, it's a good opinion.
Thank you, guys. I'm wondering if anyone has anything else that you would like to add before we open it up to questions from the audience.
I would like to add something connected to what Gerardo is saying. I'm Latin too. I'm friends with Gerardo. Nicole is from Argentina. I think it's good to mention, we all know each other. We know from the beginning, because even we are in different master programs, we have things together at the beginning. So all the international students, different master we met, so we make friendship outside the master program. But I wanted to say something related to my child development that I would like to mention. First, to thank Avi Sagi, which is the head program director, which is amazing. We say he's kind of like a grandfather for us. He's there always taking care of us. He's really humble person, but he's like the best in the field in Israel and super humble. That in my program, we have like group therapy, which is amazing. I would like for the other master programs to have it too. We have Shlomit is the teacher, which is amazing. And for us, it was really a great support for everything we were going through to come to a new country, cultural shock, because it was America, Africa, Israel, and from China. And for even inside my class, when we are having classes, sometimes it happens. Different cultures, we manage things in different ways. But we have this big support, but then we also have the support of the friends that at first day I was already friend from Nicole. And right away I met Gerardo. A couple of maybe weeks, I met Umar too. Eventually I met Priu. So first day you will have friends. So I think since you arrive, you're not going to be alone. So of course you will miss back home because we're humans, but you can manage. It's like they create even a family for you, and you create for yourself too. And I think it's really, really important.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Sorry. I don't know if someone is I don't know, having doubts about that. But for example, to start in the campus, I think it's a really good option, because I remember that in the Facebook groups, we were asking like, who wants to live outside the campus, and I'm looking for an apartment and everything like that. And I think that being on the campus for the first semester at least is the best you can do, because you are going to have like these friendships, as Leila said, like with another international students, and maybe you are going to be like in an environment that they are going to understand you. Later on, when you are more used to the culture, to the country, to the times of Shabbat or whatever, maybe yes, you can move and you can enjoy the country as you please. But for starting, I think going in the campus and in the dorms is going to be the best option.
Thank you, guys. And I would also just like to add to that as well. Aside from the community within the international students and everyone supporting one another through homesickness or other situations that may arise during your time here. Also, the international school staff, about half of us, I would say, are not native Israelis. So we also understand, and we also have, built that community and a sense of support as well. So it's something really nice that, there's the international dynamic, both amongst the students and amongst our staff as well. So I think it's a nice addition to the experience that you have here. And on that note, I would just like to thank you guys for answering the questions that came up in the chat. So that was great. If anyone else, any participants that are on with us now have any additional questions, you can actually just feel free to turn on your mic and camera if you'd like and ask us any questions you may have, and the students will answer freely. I will say I see Louise just asked a question regarding the Peace and Conflict program. I don't have a student from the program currently participating in the panel, but tomorrow, the second day of Campus Live, there will be an information session about the program and some more information there. So be sure to tune into our Facebook page, and you can follow up with information about the Peace and Conflict program, and also reach out to our chat as well with any questions that you might have. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask the students while we have them here?
Rachel, I'm reading a question in the chat that it's about accommodation and food, and I will recommend this this person that they contact directly the master program is interest, or you, Rachel, because they will tell everything. But for what I can say, even as a like living here, Israel, it's expensive, that's a reality, but that's why there are a lot of scholarships. But I think between maybe $500 more, maybe more or less, depend, of course, as always, on what you do, you can live here. But then, like, in my case, it's similar to Uruguay, so for me it's easy, but I don't know where are these people from in other places in the world, but it is a bit expensive, but I think it's worth it anyway.
Thank you,
Rachel,
Leila.
can I add to that?
Yes, of course, of course.
Yeah. So because I live alone outside the dorms, outside the campus, so maybe I'll give an idea to whoever is listening. I'll give the answer in shekels so that everyone can just, convert it into their own currency. So where I live in the Druze village, because it's a village, I pay 1800 shekels for my apartment, which is just one room apartment with it's not big. If somebody wants to live in Haifa, it will be more. It should be somewhere around 2000 to 2500. For single, if you want to live with other people, it can be, you can share it. If it's 3000, 4000, you can live with 2-3 people, you share it. But if you want to live alone, it should be somewhere around in Haifa, even for somewhere in Hadar. It can be less in Hadar, around 1800, 1700. But in other places in Haifa, should be 2000 to 2500. The food, if you buy and cook it at your place, should cost you around 1000 to 1500. And if you want to go to restaurants or something, then it would be more. And then there are buses which should cost you around 200 shekels to 300 shekels, depends on how often you travel. And extra expenses may be somewhere around 150 to 200 shekels. So this would give an idea to the people who want to have an idea. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would like, as Pio said, I would like to add that, for example, when I first came here, I started to go to normal supermarkets. Normally, I spend like, let's say, 250 shekels every week, more or less. And then I knew about the shuk markets, which is like real market, and I spend now like 100 shekels. So the meat is fresher, of course. The vegetables, maybe they're not like as good as the supermarket, but of course you really save some money if you consider like that. The bus costs 590 shekels per ride. Something that is really cool from Israel, and I recommend you also maybe to do it with friends, is something called car to go, which is a car that you share. I think you pay like 50 shekels a month, plus it's an electric car, so you need to put gas on it. So it's 50 shekels a month, plus every minute it's what, like one shekel, 0.2. But if you divide it with someone to make the groceries, it can be a trade-off. And I think that's also, like, for example, the shawarma or the hummus, they're like around 20, 30 shekels. So it depends if you want to spend it or not. It varies.
Well, according to you, Gerardo, they need to eat all the hummus and shawarma they can while they're here, and maybe with a side of eggplant, right? Okay, guys. If there are no more questions, let me just do a final check. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I would like to thank our 5 panelists for taking the time to share their experience with us. I really appreciate it. I'm sure our viewers also really appreciate it. And of course, I would like to thank all of you for tuning in to the panel.